10 Soft Skills You Need. Module 1, Getting Started. Having the technical skills and knowledge to successfully execute your job duties is only one part of being the best you can be in the workplace. In addition to these hard skills, we also need soft skills. Soft skills are those skills which allow us to effectively work with others. No matter what your position, organization, or industry, you work with people. Taking the time to build effective soft skills can contribute to a more efficient, more harmonious, and more productive workplace, as well as to your own overall job happiness and satisfaction. Workshop Objectives. Research has consistently demonstrated that when clear goals are associated with learning, it occurs more easily and rapidly. With that in mind, let's review our goals for today. At the end of this workshop, participants should be able to discuss how soft skills are important to success in the workplace, understand the 10 key soft skills everyone should have, use soft skills to relate more effectively to others in the workplace, understand how to use soft skills to communicate, problem solve, and resolve conflict, apply soft skills to specific situations. Module 2, What are soft skills? What are soft skills anyway? Simply put, soft skills are the personal attributes that allow us to effectively relate to others. These skills enhance our personal interactions and lead to greater job performance and satisfaction. Unlike hard skills, which are the technical and knowledge skill set we bring to our work, soft skills are interpersonal and can be applied in a broad array of situations. Soft skills encompass both personality traits, such as optimism, and abilities which can be practiced, such as empathy. Like all skills, soft skills can be learned. Definition of soft skills. Soft skills are personal attributes that allow us to effectively relate to others. Applying these skills helps us build stronger work relationships, work more productively, and maximize our career prospects. Often we place the focus of our career development efforts on hard skills, technology skills, knowledge, and other skills that specifically relate to our ability to get work-related tasks done. This means we neglect to develop our soft skills. However, soft skills are directly transferable to any job, organization, or industry. As a result, they are an investment worth making. Soft skills include communication, listening, showing empathy, networking, self-confidence, giving and receiving feedback. Empathy and the emotional intelligence quotient. Empathy is perhaps the most important soft skill we can develop for better interpersonal interactions. Empathy is the ability to identify with another person's experience. While we often think of empathy in terms only of identifying with someone's pain or negative experience, we can apply empathy in a variety of situations. Developing empathy allows us to imagine ourselves in another person's shoes, to respond to others, and even to vicariously experience others' feelings of emotions. When we demonstrate empathy, we create connections with others, which can help to build teamwork or otherwise create shared goals. Empathy also helps to forge stronger interpersonal connections between team members and colleagues, which is as important as shared goals or complementary skills when it comes to accomplishing work. Empathy is one component of what is known as emotional intelligence, or EI. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and manage our feelings so that they are expressed appropriately. Exercising emotional intelligence helps to create harmonious, productive relationships. There are 4 key components to emotional intelligence: self-awareness, the ability to recognize our own feelings and motivations; self-management, the ability to appropriately express or not express feelings; social awareness, our ability to recognize the feelings and needs of others and the norms of a given situation; relationship management, our ability to relate effectively to others. Taken together, these skills make up our emotional intelligence quotient, EQI. The EQI is a measure of your ability to exercise soft skills such as empathy. Professionalism. The word professionalism often conjures up images of a cold, distant, brusque person in a nondescript navy blue suit. In fact, many people have the sense that to be professional is exactly the opposite of demonstrating empathy and emotional intelligence. However, professionalism is a key soft skill, and it doesn't require you to be inauthentic, distant, or detached. Professionalism is simply the ability to conduct yourself with responsibility, integrity, accountability, and excellence. Acting with professionalism also means seeking to communicate effectively with others and finding a way to be productive. Professionalism involves what may seem to be small acts, such as always reporting to work on time and returning promptly from breaks, dressing appropriately, being clean and neat, speaking clearly and politely to colleagues, customers, and clients, striving to meet high standards for one's own work. Learned versus inborn traits. Because soft skills are talked about as traits of a person's personality, it may seem as though you have to be born with them. While some soft skills come more easily to one person than they might to another, soft skills are not inborn. Like all skills, they can be learned. Because we all have our own preferences and ways of moving through the world, some soft skills may be more difficult to learn than others. But if we think back, there are also aspects of our hard skill set that were difficult at first, though they now seem to come quite naturally to us. We develop soft skills in the same way we develop hard skills. We practice. Spending time with people who seem to be able to effortlessly demonstrate a soft skill that you find challenging is one way to build your soft skill set. Another way is to seek opportunities to practice in which the risk of failure is low until you feel confident in your ability. You don't have to be born a networker or an empathetic person. You can learn and build these skills throughout your career.
Dee preferred to work by herself, and her position at her company allowed her to do that most of the time. Anything that got in the way of her productivity was an annoyance. She preferred to keep interactions brief so she could get back to work. Her coworker Angela mentioned that people often found Dee unapproachable. Dee wondered if this was a problem. The next day, a coworker interrupted Dee. She remembered Angela's words and tried to really listen to what he needed rather than rushing him out of her office. She realized that her coworkers wouldn't come to her until things were in crisis. She then understood that cultivating better relationships could prevent crises in the workday.
Module 3, Communication. Communication is the most important soft skill because all other soft skills are built on the ability to communicate clearly and professionally. Communication is more than just sending a message. It is also the ability to receive messages, listen actively, and hear what isn't being said. Many times we focus on learning to speak or write clearly, but this is only one component of communication, and perhaps not even the most important. Ways we communicate. Human communication is complex. The first thing that comes to mind when we hear the word communication is often words, either spoken or written. But the words we speak and hear are just one way we communicate, and some studies show that most of our communication takes place through other means. Humans communicate in many different ways. Nonverbal communication. Communication without words, such as eye contact or posture. Verbal communication. Communication with words, both written and spoken. Body language. Communication through gestures, personal space, and touching. Artistic communication. Communication through images and other creative media. Musical communication. Communication through music, whether with lyrics or without. Most of us have a preferred method of communication, but all of us use these different forms at one point or another. Learning to communicate effectively in many forms helps not only when you craft your own message, but when you receive messages as well. Improving nonverbal communication. Studies show that up to 70% of the information we communicate comes through nonverbal communication gestures, eye contact, posture, personal space, and all the other ways we use our bodies to send messages. Other studies show that if a person's nonverbal communication and verbal communication don't match in terms of message, the listener is more likely to doubt what he or she is saying. Improving your nonverbal communication can help improve your overall ability to both send and receive messages. Improving your nonverbal communication starts with awareness. Pay attention to how you use your body when you are talking or listening to someone. An open stance, frequent but not continuous eye contact, nods, and a relaxed posture help to communicate that you are open and approachable, and that you are communicating honestly. A closed stance, folding your arms across your chest, staring at the floor, or refusing to make eye contact, all indicate that you are not listening or that you are not communicating openly. Shifting from foot to foot, pacing, or otherwise moving continuously indicate impatience. We do many things without thinking about them, especially when we are otherwise busy. Take time to notice both your own nonverbal communication and others, and especially your reaction to others. Listening. The ability to receive messages is as important, if not more important, than the ability to send them. Listening is more than just hearing the words someone speaks. It is a total way of receiving verbal and nonverbal messages, processing them, and communicating that understanding back to the speaker. Many of us listen in order to respond. We are formulating our next message while another is still talking. We should instead listen to understand, to fully take in, process, and comprehend the message that is being sent. Active listening is sometimes thrown around as a buzzword, but it's a valuable soft skill to develop. Active listening is a form of listening where you listen to the speaker and reflect back what you're understanding the speaker to have said. You may also give the speaker nonverbal feedback through nods of agreement and other techniques, which indicate you are listening and understanding. Active listening involves staying focused on the present both by giving the speaker your full attention and by keeping the discussion to the issue at hand. Reflect back to the speaker what you understand him or her to have said by carefully rephrasing the message, such as, "So I hear you saying that." Check for understanding and use I statements rather than you statements. Openness and honesty. Open, honest communication is the key to building workplace relationships and demonstrating professionalism. While you do not need to discuss personal or private topics in the workplace, being transparent and honest about work matters and generally being willing to communicate with others is vital. People can sense when someone is hiding something or withholding information and tend not to trust him or her. This damages workplace trust and relationships and may lead to lower productivity and morale. Each of us has a different level of comfort with what we choose to disclose about ourselves, but being willing to share parts of yourself with your colleagues also helps to build rapport.
Austin wasn't a big communicator. He liked to get to the point so that an issue could be solved immediately. He listened with his arms folded and sometimes even tapped his foot. If a person came into his office while he was working, he'd continue working while the person talked. This meant sometimes he missed important details. During his yearly review, Austin's manager told him that his coworkers felt they annoyed Austin and that he didn't listen. Austin's manager suggested he take a one-day communication course. In the course, they talked about nonverbal communication, and Austin realized how off-putting his habits were. He decided to try to be more mindful of his nonverbal communication and listening style.
Module 4, Teamwork. Even if you work fairly independently most of the time, inevitably you must also work with others. Finding ways to build teams that accomplish what needs to be done in the most efficient and accurate manner is often challenging, especially when bringing together team members with diverse sets of hard and soft skills. There are some basic techniques you can use when building or working with a team to help create a cohesive unit that leverages everyone's talents and ensures that each person contributes. Identifying capabilities. Einstein said that everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its life thinking it is stupid. When building a team, it is key to identify the different talents, skills, and capabilities each team member brings. Identifying what each team member does well and can contribute helps ensure that work is allocated in a way that takes full advantage of the talent resources on the team. Assigning a team member work that is completely outside his or her skill set is a recipe for failure. On the other hand, leveraging all the diverse capabilities, skills, and talents on your team helps you achieve the maximum results. When you build or join a team, take the time at the outset to ask each member what he or she brings to the team. What skills, abilities, and relationships does each team member have that can enhance the project? What does each person feel he or she does well? How can the team use all these talents and capabilities to achieve the best outcome? Get into your role. When you are given a role on a team, it is important to get into it. Be sure you know what is expected of you and what you can expect of others. Even if the role is a new one or a stretch for you, it is key to step into it. This also means stepping out of others' roles even if they are roles you have played before. Use your communication skills to create open, honest dialogues with your other team members so that you are all on the same page. Be clear about where your role begins and ends and be willing to assert those boundaries. Teamwork can be challenging in the best of circumstances, but it is even more so when roles are unclear. A key in creating a team is clearly outlining what each person's role is and is not. Learn the whole process. Knowing your role and stepping fully into it is a vital part of effective teamwork. At the same time, it is important not to get isolated in your own piece of the project. Learning the whole process not only ensures that you understand your own role and accountabilities, but helps you know what to expect of and from others. When you take the time to learn the whole process, it puts your work and your relationships with team members into a larger context. Knowing the whole process also means that you can help a colleague troubleshoot if problems arise, and that your colleagues can be of assistance should you need it. In the worst-case scenario, having every member of the team know the whole process means that others can step in if there is a crisis or breakdown in the project. The best way to learn the whole process is to talk to team members who are working parts of a project different from your own. Take the time to ask questions and to listen actively to the answers. This not only demonstrates that you care about the outcome of the project, but that you are interested and invested in each of your teammates' work and success. Learning the whole process helps to build collaborative relationships among team members, which helps to enhance communication and overall productivity. The power of flow. Psychologists define flow as a mental state that occurs when we are fully immersed in an activity. When we are at flow state, we are completely absorbed in what we are doing, and this produces a feeling of energized focus and enjoyment. Tapping into flow is a powerful way to increase your own productivity and the productivity of your team. We are most likely to achieve flow when we are engaged in a task to which our skills are well matched. Another reason to identify the capabilities of each person on a team. Flow also comes about more easily when we have clear goals and can focus on the process rather than the end product. Perhaps the most important key to achieving flow is to minimize interruptions when you are working. When we can find the flow state, time seems to pass quickly without our noticing. We are also more likely to create accurate, high-quality work with fewer errors. Because we are focused totally on what we are doing, a flow state may be a key aspect of mastering a new set of skills. Stretching your skill set and cultivating flow can be a great tool for professional development.
Colleen worked as part of a team, but only focused on her part of the final product. She communicated with her team members as needed, but didn't really understand what each of them did. When they started a new project, the team lead, Tasha, had each person describe what their role was. As each team member described their piece of the project, Colleen began to see how it all came together. She had never thought about what had to happen before her part could be completed, or what had happened afterwards. Seeing the project as a whole made her understand more clearly what the overall goal was, and knowing what her teammates did helped her communicate with them.